Good morning, everybody. This is your 3 News Now early update. I am Ben Axelrod, stepping in for Stephanie Haney. This week, we are keeping you up to date on all the latest coronavirus numbers in the state of Ohio, all the headlines across the world, as well as right here in Northeast Ohio. Let's start today with our coronavirus numbers that came in on Thursday afternoon. Confirmed and probable cases, we saw 700 new cases. That is 288 more than we saw an increase of on Wednesday. The reason why a lot of these cases are being explained and why we're seeing kind of the surge in cases is they're saying we're having hot spots in the southwest area of Ohio, particularly in Hamilton County. We've also increased our testing, obviously, but still numbers to keep an eye on as we saw 700 new cases of confirmed and probable coronavirus cases added on Thursday. Hospitalizations, we are up 7,000. We are up to 7,104. That is 53 new hospitalizations from the day prior. Confirmed and probable deaths, we are up to 2,633. That is 22 new deaths on Thursday, heading in from Wednesday. And then ICU admissions, we are up to 1,807. That is 10 new ICU admissions from the day prior. Moving on and sticking with our coronavirus numbers, Dr. Amy Edwards of Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital said during Governor Mike DeWine's daily press briefing on Thursday, that we are seeing an increase in positive tests among the youth, and not just an increase in the tests, but an increase in the percentage of the youth who are taking the tests and then testing positive, according to Dr. Amy Edwards of Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. Increased testing is not the only reason for the spike in cases among children. It has been a steady increase, and it has not stopped as of yet, Dr. Edwards told 3 News. What we've really been seeing recently is an increase in the percent of tests that are coming back positive, particularly in symptomatic children, meaning that for kids who have symptoms of a respiratory viral disease, a larger percent of them are coronavirus compared to earlier in the pandemic. Governor Mike DeWine invited Edwards to speak at his daily press briefing to educate parents about what hospitals across the state are seeing in cases of children. She says that doctors have seen a 5 to 6% increase of positive tests in the past few weeks. To be expected as the state opens, we are going to start to see more positive kids, and that rate is something we are going to keep our eye on, she said. Hospitalizations in cases of multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children have also increased. It has features which overlap with Kawasaki disease and may occur days to weeks after acute COVID-19. According to the Mayo Clinic, Kawasaki disease causes swelling in the walls of medium-sized arteries through the body. It can affect the coronary arteries, which supply blood to the heart. It mainly affects children, and while it can be life-threatening, the clinic says it's usually treatable and most children recover without serious problems. For most people, including children, coronavirus cases are mild or moderate symptoms such as fever or cough that clear up in 2 to 3 weeks. Moving on, our next story, following up on a story we talked about during yesterday's early update. President Donald Trump says he plans on renewing efforts to end DACA after Thursday's Supreme Court ruling. Less than 24 hours after the Supreme Court rejected President Donald Trump's effort to end legal protections for 650,000 young immigrants, Trump declared he will again try to end the program. For now, immigrants in the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Program, DACA, retains their protection from deportation and their authorization to work in the United States. On Friday, President Trump tweeted and said he is working to submit paperwork to try to end young immigrants' protections again. The Supreme Court asked us to resubmit on DACA. Nothing was lost or won, his tweet said. They punted, much like in a football game, where hopefully they would stand for our great American flag. We will be submitting enhanced papers shortly in order to properly fulfill the Supreme Court's ruling and request of yesterday. The Supreme Court justices rejected administrative arguments that the 8-year-old Deferred Action of Childhood arrivals program is illegal and that courts have no role to play in reviewing the decision to end DACA. Chief Justice John Roberts, joined by his 4 liberal colleagues, wrote for the court Thursday that the administration did not pursue the end of the program properly. We do not decide whether DACA or its rescission are sound policies, Roberts wrote. We address only whether the agency complied with the procedural requirement that it provide a reasoned explanation for its action. Here the agency failed to consider the conspicuous issues of whether to retain forbearance and what, if anything, to do about the hardship to DACA recipients. The Department of Homeland Security can try again, he wrote. The court's 4 conservative judges dissented. Moving on to a local story, Akron police have identified 3 suspects in the death of Na'kia Crawford. In a press conference on Thursday afternoon, Akron Police Chief Deputy Jesse Lesser announced that warrants had been taken out on the following 3 suspects. The shooter, 17-year-old Adaris Black of Lakemore, faces a charge of murder. Sources tell 3 News that Black has a long juvenile criminal history. A $5,000 reward has been announced for information leading to the whereabouts of Black. 18-year-old Jayon Bivens of Akron has been charged with obstruction and tampering with evidence. According to Akron Police Chief Deputy Jesse Lesser, Bivens and his attorney are cooperating with officers, and he is expected to turn himself in. The 3rd suspect has been identified as 24-year-old Janisha Gray of Talamidge. She faces 1 charge of obstruction of justice. Lesser says police believe that all 3 suspects are currently within Summit County. There is nothing to indicate prior knowledge between Na'kia and the suspects, according to Lesser. Police believe the shooting was a case of mistaken identity and that Crawford simply found herself in the wrong place at the wrong time. The news that police had identified the suspects in the Na'kia Crawford shooting went national quickly, attracting the attention of Akron native LeBron James, who has been following the case closely. Music to our ears for us who love and bleed the city of Akron, James tweeted. Speaking of James, today is the 4-year anniversary of the Cleveland Cavaliers winning the 2016 NBA championship. It's now been 4 years since the Cavs defeated the Golden State Warriors in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. In doing so, the Cavs became the first team in NBA Finals history to overcome a 3-1 series deficit. It also, of course, marked the city of Cleveland's first major professional sports championship in 52 years. And although the Cavs look different now, obviously, right now, with Tristan Thompson and Matthew Dellavedova scheduled to hit free agency this offseason, Kevin Love is the only remaining member of the Cavs roster who was on that 2016 championship team. That didn't stop fans on social media from celebrating and remembering and honoring the Cavs championship. We have a collection of some of those posts up on our website on WKYC.com. That is going to do it for us. That is our early update. We will be back with you around 2 p.m. to share all the top stories on our WKYC website and the 3 News app. Thanks for watching, guys.